10 Premier League talking points including Man United problem and Liverpool blow. The international break has crept up once again, and plenty will need a breather after another frenzied and thrilling Premier League weekend. We have just entered November and the sack counter is up to 5 after 2 more casualties. Daniel Farke was dismissed by Norwich and Dean Smith bid an emotional farewell to Aston Villa despite contrasting results. But Manchester United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still clings on after yet another sobering derby day. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Liverpool dropped points in the title race as Arsenal continued their mini-revival under Mikel Arteta. Here are Mirror Football's Premier League talking points from another intoxicating weekend of action. Manchester United 0-2 Manchester City. Liverpool's Old Trafford humiliation was a demolition job, but the latest derby humbling inflicted longer, more drawn-out pain. This was death by almost 1,000 passes, and the chasm between the two Manchester rivals hasn't been greater since Solskjaer took charge. The Norwegians' answer to defensive woes was adding an extra defender, and there was almost an acceptance of defeat before kick-off. Anyhow, that doesn't excuse Eric Bailly and Luke Shaw for inexcusable lapses for both City goals. United had more attempts on their own goal than they did on Ederson's, such was the dominance from Pep Guardiola's men who barely needed to leave second gear. The Red Devils couldn't lay a glove on a team they should be competing for a title with, and this response to a 5-0 home drubbing was arguably more damaging for Solskjaer, who somehow fights on. Pep Guardiola's men outclassed United and assumed complete control from first minute to last in the derby. It's telling that there are far tougher tests to come than Old Trafford, the theatre for an outstanding performance orchestrated by a far superior manager than in the home dugout. The 67% possession will satisfy Guardiola, the second boss to show mercy on Solskjaer in 13 days. Should Manchester United sack Solskjaer? Comment below. A 2-0 scoreline flattered United, who were chasing shadows and searching for more answers. Metronome Rodri pulled the strings for City, and Portuguese pair João Cancelo and Bernardo Silva were both superb. With title challengers Chelsea and Liverpool dropping points, this was City's perfect weekend. West Ham 3-2 Liverpool. Liverpool's 25-game unbeaten run is over, but most supporters will admit this wasn't a shock. The trip to a buoyant London stadium was fraught with danger, but Jurgen Klopp's men fell into the trap with their incompetence at set-piece defending. The visitors conceded 2 from corners, and this time were not bailed out by the mercurial Mohamed Salah. Liverpool's defense has been porous, and issues in the draw against Brighton were not addressed. An international break is welcome for a reset at Anfield, but it's not a time to panic. The Reds are just 4 points off leaders Chelsea. Something special is happening under David Moyes at West Ham, and Sunday's victory was the latest chapter of an extraordinary start to the season. Liverpool boss Klopp highlighted the West Ham intensity before the game, and not many can live with the rampant hammers right now. Victory over Klopp's men was built on relentless energy, set-piece efficiency, and the unwavering presence of a striker in Michail Antonio who strikes fear into defenses and simply does not stop running. West Ham are mocking the idea that Thursday night football destroys domestic form and are level on points with Manchester City in November. The Irons are proving they are real contenders for the Champions League places. Southampton 1-0 Aston Villa. It was just 44 days since Dean Smith's Aston Villa side ended Manchester United's unbeaten run in the league to claim their first Old Trafford victory in 12 years. His last Premier League win at the stadium came before Solskjaer's. But victory in the red side of Manchester no longer makes a manager bulletproof, and a failure to arrest a poor run was enough for Villa's ambitious owners to pull the trigger. Southampton inflicted a 5th straight league defeat on Friday, and Villa were left 16th in the league, 2 points above the relegation zone. Villa were bold in the transfer window to splurge £100 million on a new frontline, and they have been bold to fire a manager who shares a close bond with the fans on the Holte End. Smith couldn't adapt to the loss of Jack Grealish and was not afforded the chance to gel his new attacking stars Danny Ings, Emi Buendia and Leon Bailey. The 50-year-old will hold great pride in an unforgettable 3 years at his boyhood club that included Premier League promotion. But a managerial search is underway in the Midlands. Chelsea 1-1 Burnley. Thomas Tuchel has said a quiet international break will include picking his kids up from school and walking his dog in the local forest. But the German boss has a fortnight to mull over the frustration of not extending the Chelsea lead at the summit to 5. The seemingly indomitable Blues were held at home to Burnley in a huge result for Sean Dyche. The Clarets rode their luck but stayed in the game, and Matic Vydra stunned Stamford Bridge with the equaliser. Kai Havertz scored the opener, but a second never came, and perhaps this was the first time Romelu Lukaku was truly missed. A frustrating setback is hardly likely to derail the European champions, but an opportunity was missed in West London as Liverpool also faltered. Everton 0-0 Tottenham. Antonio Conte's first Tottenham League game wasn't as entertaining as his European Conference bout, and this won't be a quick fix for the serial-winning Italian. Spurs failed to hit a shot on target for a second consecutive Premier League match, and deep-rooted problems from Nuno Espirito Santo's fleeting failure cannot be debunked by a new manager bounce. A goalless draw at Goodison Park is at least a platform to build from, but Harry Kane has one Premier League goal, and that's a concern. The England international was at least involved more on Merseyside after drifting through games in recent weeks, and this was a more intense team showing. But getting Kane and co. firing will be top of Conte's agenda as he heads into an untimely international break. Arsenal 1-0 Watford boss Claudio Ranieri was right to feel incensed that Arsenal's winner was allowed to stand. The Gunners continued to play after Danny Rose kicked the ball out, so teammate Ozan Tufan could receive treatment and Emile Smith-Rowe continued his hot streak with the decisive goal. Ranieri challenged Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta in a heated confrontation at full time. Not that the Spaniard will care after his 100th game in charge. The mini-revival continues under Arteta, who has gone from looking doomed to 6 points off top spot with 3 straight wins. There is an unfamiliar tenacity and spirit in this confidence-fueled Arsenal side, who may have folded earlier on in Arteta's reign. Brentford 1-2 Norwich City. That Norwich told Daniel Farke that his time was up minutes after his side secured their long-awaited first win of the season was befitting of the madness of the Premier League. But in reality, an ownership's decision whether or not to sack a manager should not derive from one game, and this had been coming before a surprise victory at Brentford. The Canaries are rock bottom. 5 points from survival and a solitary away win wasn't sufficient evidence for a more drastic turnaround. Farke's parting gift provides a major boost, but who will replace the German? The decision on the next appointment, in line with the club's identity, as well as having an ability to maintain Premier League status, will be fascinating. Brighton 1-1 Newcastle. Eddie Howe was never the popular choice among fans to lead Newcastle into the Saudi-led era, but he was present at Brighton ahead of confirmation of his arrival. The former Bournemouth boss witnessed a second-half improvement as the Toon earned a valuable point from the Seasiders. Howe has to overcome the fact he wasn't first choice on Tyneside, and the sole priority remains Premier League survival. There will be some belief after the showing at the Amex and he should have the international break to make his mark after 14 months out of the game. Newcastle at least lifted themselves from the foot of the table, but the hard work starts now.